Hey guys, thanks for tuning back in. Chase here, and today we have a spotlight for the Hybird unit. It's been a pretty slow week on global, that's why I'm doing these unit reviews. But we do have a new event dropping tonight. Probably not terribly exciting, but as long as it comes with the tome event, I'm excited. So just real quick, if anybody wants to go live with me on that, I'll be live at 10 o'clock tonight. Literally just when the event starts. 10 o'clock is me on the East Coast. But yeah, if you wanna see me check it out live, maybe do some polls. I mean, definitely not for Dread Dragon unless it's free. Tune on in. Anyway, this guy is very underrated. Okay, very underrated. Because here's the thing: if you put him in your team and you put it on auto, he's gonna suck. He's gonna go put himself in the middle of the enemy space and get off one decent hit, and then he's going to die in one or two hits. You've got to think a little bit when you use this guy sometimes. Let's go over his stats, although he's largely for breath damage, so keep in mind there are no stats other than level that affect breath damage. Out of your physical statistics, that is. So, but we'll look. HP 584. It's low. It's garbage. I think it's like the second lowest out of what everything JP has right now. MP is above average. His breath ability is very expensive, but you don't have any problem using it. I think 3 or 4 times. We'll look at that in a second. Attack 241. Fine. I think it's right in the middle, but it's for basic attacks. He doesn't have any physical skills. You sure as heck shouldn't give him one. Defense 205. Very bad. Again, glass cannon. Agility 411. This is not one of the highest agilities in the game. It's the highest agility in the game. Even out of JP, which literally has more than twice as many S ranks as we do right now. Now, that isn't necessarily enemies. Some of those have, I just looked at the Prism Peacock versus fight. Quest versus Quest fight, and its agility is like 500 something, so we're not beating that anytime soon. But I looked at that fight because his wisdom is so high, or agility is so high, that that fight starts off with a couple of living statue enemies that knock your team back and forth at the very beginning, but they can be slept. This unit now goes faster than them after you get him up to level 100. That is one of the reasons I put an orb into him, and I kind of just wanted to see how good he was because he's so underrated. His wisdom is 276. That's not very exciting, but he's not a spellcaster, and I just had to check this out. I forget. So anyway, at the moment, we don't have any A-rank spell scrolls, okay? If you don't have an A-rank ability, you can't get one. But you can teach B-scroll abilities. And I've kind of touched on this a little bit. I don't know everything. I think it's pretty simple, though. There's a cap on C spells and a cap on wisdom spell, or B-rank spells, rather, for wisdom. Now, it's not a damage cap. It is a cap to how much wisdom it will count for that spell's damage. Hopefully I said that right. Anyway, the wisdom cap for B-rank spells is 270. Meaning this guy is going to do as much damage as he can do with any spell that you give him. But I don't suggest giving him a spell. I don't recommend putting another breath ability on him. Sweet Breath. I really hope that you guys didn't waste this. It's been something that's been talked about in the community a little bit more. Somebody made a really nice video about it, and I don't remember the name. I'll link it in my description. Sweet Breath is amazing on this guy because he has a perk, at Awakening 1, that lowers ability MP cost, raises potency, and effect of, all breath skills. Okay? So I don't know if there's any way to prove it, but as it's written, it should... I'm pretty sure Sweet Breath costs 12, so it did drop at 1. Sweet Breath is not an ability that decreases an MP cost when you level it. But it should give it a increased effect chance, because it says lowers breath ability, MP cost, potency, and effect. Because this, I have seen this ability on other units where it doesn't say effect. So yeah, it should make Sweet Breath. He should be the best Sweet Breath user in the game, and Sweet Breath is pretty sweet. Sorry. Yeah, that's amazing. That combined with obviously his 4 movement. Okay, he can put almost anything to sleep on the first turn. Or at least he has a chance. If you're talking about 0 stamina missions, as long as they're not completely resistant to sleep, he can reach almost the entire board the first turn with that skill. Like, there's very few exceptions. Very few things start off more than 7 squares away from you. So yeah, that's amazing. He can sleep whatever he wants first turn almost. Scorch is pretty good. I've only got mine at rank 4, so keep in mind when I show him off, it can be up to 30% potency higher. Sizzle, fine. Keep in mind, his breath attacks are both frizz. The sizzle is sizz. I don't know why they're 2 different types, but we all know this by now. So he's got 2 types on him. And sizz is not as exciting as his breath attack. Not that that's exciting either. But it is going to do as much damage as a B rank spell can on any unit. And then he has his leadership ability. I'm actually going to be kind of checking this out for the first time on here, because if an enemy is normally neutral, I do believe I think it just multiplies the damage by 1.25. If an enemy is heavily resistant to you, they will only be half resistant to you. Now, and I'm not sure what it does to full brilliant. I don't know if it makes it like 1.75 damage, because brilliant is a 1.5 modifier. Anyway, we'll just I'm just going to do the versus quest with the I think it's like the 14,000 CP troll. There's a variety of weaknesses, resistances, and things that are neutral to the damage there. But yeah, I think I went over it, and I think I mentioned it briefly. He's 4... Yeah, I definitely did. He's got 4 movement, which is, very strong. This guy can do... His breath ability often isn't enough to take something out completely, like some more powerful casters. But it's enough to really mess things up. And if you're taking on maybe weaker adds, it can definitely take those out. Okay, guys, I'm back, and this is like take 4. Not because this fight is difficult, but just because I'm trying to show off his leadership ability properly. And this map does not want to let me. The first problem was that Stone Golem was using cover and not being in range of the ability, so that made it pretty useless. And then I came up here, and I was going to have, the Salamander, this Knight, and the Boss Troll under his effect, and he shoved me. The Knight did. So, anyway, let's show off that he can put things to sleep. Oh, wasn't that amazing, folks? Alright, so let's just kind of stay back a little bit. We'll do... Because now... Alright, I've made this rant 3 times now. His leadership ability is going to affect the Salamander, the Boss, and the Knight here. I think the tapping shows up on screen. This also reminds me of... Again, I know I've ranted about this a lot. Stop worrying so much about everything in your party being under your leader's bonus. It's only the 2 tile radius around your leader at the beginning of the round as well. So yeah, your party is generally not going to stay within 2 ranges of your leader. At least not all of them, not for the whole time. So stop worrying about everything on a team being under a leader bonus. Okay. Here we go. Good time to show off Dragon Lord. His banner comes back tonight. Alright. I'll throw one of these fires out here. 315. Again, everything next turn due to Hybird's leader skill will be 25% less resistant, which means if they're neutral, Brilliant is usually a 1.5 modifier. It will now be... They'll have a 1.25 weakness. Modifier. Yeah, they'll be 25% weaker than normal to it. And we'll show that off better next turn. Let's see. Oh no, that's Stone Golem's messing that up for me again, but he, well, you'll be able to see it on the Salamander. Alright, so you can see before, I think, hopefully I showed off the Scorch the first time. I know I used Sleep. In the other rounds, I was doing 289 damage with Scorch. Okay, and you'll also notice that it says weak here instead of super weak. I'm not sure if any enemies are naturally only weak to attributes. This doesn't ring a bell to me, but yeah, now that so they're not super weak, they're weak. So it's a 25% modifier. It just did 362. It did 74 more damage. That sounds like 25%. Yeah. So we got that. Maybe we can we knock out this stupid troll or stone golem? The stone golem's making this fight far less exciting. Okay, and then I think, darn, I can't hit it. All right, let's just do this. All right. So yeah, what did let me see. I don't remember what this did last turn, but it just did 393 to the boss, who should have been weaker to it than last turn. And then, well, you can see. So the he's doing about 300 damage with his Scorches, I think 373 if they're weak to it, and that's only half resistance. So when they're completely weak to it, it's between 400 and 500 damage. He's like I said, he's not going to knock out units in one turn, but he'll do a good chunk of damage to him. He'll do like half damage to a lot of enemies. You know, he'll be a good thing to finish them off or whatnot. But I mean, this guy isn't your heavy hitter. He's not going to impress you when you just throw him in on auto. But if you use him to mop things up, to put things to sleep, he's very useful. So don't sleep on this unit. Don't get all upset if you pull this guy instead of some other S rank. He's very useful. And I think, yeah, maybe it's silly to say that he's worth putting an orb in right now, but you're definitely not silly to do it, because like I'm going to go try the Prism Peacock fight again now, and I can sleep those guys before they even move, before they like put 2 huge hits on my entire party. That will probably make it a little easier. So, all right, if you watched, thanks a lot. If you want to sub, that would help a lot. I'm at like 135 now. I'm growing, still on the way to 1,000. And I'll put it in the description. There's a Patreon if anybody wants to join that. I haven't really done much with it yet because nobody's on it. I don't know if I have to do things for people to join or if I start doing things once people join. Still figuring that out. I got no idea how it works, but I'm going to figure it out. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in, guys. Have a good night.